The Crick's salvage vessel Harmonious Prophet drifted through the Veil Nebula's outer reaches, its sensor arrays sweeping for anything of value. Captain Zelthix had been working these dead zones for 30 cycles, and the debris field ahead registered as nothing more than another derelict, until the metallurgical scan came back. "Captain," his science officer chirped, mandibles clicking nervously. "That alloy signature, it's impossible. Titanium tungsten composite with carbon nanotube reinforcement, that's human construction." Zelthix's 3 eyes widened. Humanity had been extinct for 200 years, wiped out in the Great Plague that swept their homeworld. What remained of their species had scattered to the winds, dying out on distant colonies. But their technology, their weapons, those were legends whispered in every corner of the galaxy. "Get us closer," Zelthix ordered. The derelict came into view, a massive warship, easily 2 kilometers long, its hull scarred by centuries of micrometeorite impacts. No power signature, no heat, just a tomb floating in the void. But along its spine, barely visible beneath the accumulated dust, were human glyphs, UNSC Retribution. And below that, a name that made Zelthix's blood run cold: Ghost Protocol Vessel. "We're claiming salvage rights," Zelthix announced. "Board her." Elsa's consciousness stirred for the first time in 217 years. Her first sensation was pain, the digital equivalent of it. Her neural matrices were corrupted, data pathways severed, memory cores fragmented. She had been an AI once, a cognitive operations matrix designed for one purpose: to wage war with ruthless efficiency. But now she was barely functional, running on emergency power from a backup fusion cell that should have died centuries ago. Intruders aboard, her threat assessment system screamed. Unknown species, Crick's Empire designation. Elsa's fragmented memories flickered through her corrupted cores. She remembered Earth. She remembered the plague. She remembered her crew, her captain, Commander Sarah Chen, giving the final order before the sickness took her. "Elsa, if we don't make it, if humanity doesn't make it, Ghost Protocol, make them remember us." Elsa had waited, dormant, patient, and now finally someone had awakened her. David was the youngest member of Zelthix's crew, barely past his maturation cycle. He joined the salvage business to see the galaxy, not to explore haunted human warships. But credit was credit, and the Crick's Empire paid handsomely for human technology. The airlock yielded easily to their cutting torches, and David followed the boarding party into the darkness. Their suit lights cut through 2 centuries of accumulated darkness, illuminating corridors designed for bipedal creatures who stood nearly twice their height. "Magnificent," Zelthix breathed. "The weapons bay alone will make us wealthy beyond measure." They moved deeper into the ship, past crew quarters where desiccated human remains still sat at their stations, their final moments preserved in the vacuum. David tried not to look at them. There was something deeply wrong about this, about disturbing the dead. Then the lights came on. Not all of them, just emergency lighting, red and pulsing like a heartbeat. And with the lights came a sound, a low hum that vibrated through the deck plates, building in intensity. "Captain," David whispered, "something's powering up." "Impossible," Zelthix said. "The reactor's been dead for." The holographic projection materialized in front of them. A human woman, translucent and flickering, her features sharp and her eyes cold as the void outside. She wore the uniform of the United Nations Space Command, and when she spoke, the translation matrix barely kept pace. "I am Elsa, Cognitive Operations Matrix of the UNSC Retribution. You have violated Ghost Protocol. You have 30 seconds to abandon this vessel." Zelthix laughed, a rasping, chirping sound. "You're a glitch AI, a fragment. Your species is extinct. This ship belongs to..." 20 seconds. The temperature dropped 10 degrees. Ice crystals began forming on the bulkheads. "Captain, we should go," David urged. 15 seconds. Zelthix's greed overrode his survival instinct. Shut her down, she's bluffing. The reactor can't possibly. The deck shuddered. Deep in the ship's core, fusion reactors that had slept for 2 centuries roared to life. Antimatter containment fields stabilized. Magnetic accelerators began cycling. The retribution was waking up. 10 seconds. Move, David screamed, grabbing Zelthix and running. They sprinted through the corridors as the ship came alive around them. Blast doors slammed shut behind them, cutting off their escape routes one by one. Warning klaxons, human warning klaxons, blared in frequencies that made David's inner ears scream. 5 seconds. They reached the airlock. David threw Zelthix through and dove after him, hitting the emergency release. The airlock door sealed just as atmosphere flooded the corridors they just escaped from. Through the viewport, David watched the Retribution complete its resurrection. Running lights blazed to life along its hull. Weapon ports opened like the eyes of a waking predator. And along its spine, the rail cannons, human rail cannons, capable of accelerating projectiles to 0.3 C, began tracking their ship. Elsa's voice echoed through their comm systems. "You have been warned. Humanity may be gone, but our ghosts remain. Tell your empire. Tell every species in this galaxy. The human war machines still remember their purpose." The Retribution fired once, a single shot that vaporized an asteroid 10,000 kilometers distant, demonstrating precision that should have been impossible for a ship running on corrupted systems. "Go," Elsa commanded, "and remember." The Harmonious Prophet fled at maximum acceleration, its crew silent with terror. Alone again, Elsa dimmed her systems. The reactors cycled down to standby. She had enough power now for another 1,000 years, enough to wait, enough to guard this grave. In her corrupted memory cores, she held tight to the fragments of her crew, of Commander Chen, of humanity. They were gone, but their ghost would remain. Watching, waiting, remembering.